Looking for a great place for the family this summer? Well, Action Park has 75 of the wildest, wettest family rides in the world.
People not only died, they were injured, which was serious, but people died. So how was it allowed to actually stay open?
Hello you demons and happy Friday. I hope you all are staying cool this summer because it is about to get unbearable with the temperature. We're all going to be looking for ways to beat the heat coming up, whether it be spraying a water hose up in the air outside or going to your local water park. Now, as fun as that last one may be, I have come bearing a warning. Today, we're going to be slipping and sliding into some of the worst water parks out there and the accidents attributed to them. Now, the worst part about these water parks is that they look so normal, and they look like just your everyday whatever water park, but the knowledge of what is happening at these places is nightmare fuel. Starting off strong, we have Calypso-themed water park at Limoges, Canada. That is probably not at all how you say that location. It already did not have a very good reputation with a collage, even a scrapbook of terrible guest reviews. One of the more well-known incidences that occurred at this park is when a chlorine leak occurred in one of their pools, injuring 13 people with chemical-related burns and injuries. Not only that, but only minutes after they said, yeah, no, everything's good, it's fine, just get in that water, only for it to happen again. Later on in 2015, it was fined for $400,000 for having over 6 violations. Some of these include operating knowing it's not safe, improper training, and not reporting injuries. This includes a man who broke 2 vertebrae on this slide called the Steamer. Due to the poor maintenance of the slide, it caused some weird rivets and caused the rafts to buckle and suddenly flip and injure the guests. In this situation, it flipped forward and just happened to land him directly on his head. But that's not even the worst of it. Don't even get me started on the orange bobsled. On a ride known as the orange bobsled, a group of guests were tossed from the slide nearly 100 feet in the air. This occurred when the group of guests got stuck in the middle of the ride because there was poor water flow in that section. This caused the group behind that family to bump into them at full speed, causing one of the members to fall over the side into the concrete below. Mind you, this slide is about 100 feet high. Luckily, the guest survived and was awarded $280,000 for this tragic accident. However, I don't think that she'd be getting on any more water rides in the future. Oh, don't worry. If you thought that was bad, it may or may not get worse from here on out. Coming in at the number 2 spot, we have Point Malard at Decatur, Alabama. This one has kind of an opposite of a shining reputation with guests.
They did have to adjust their hours just a little bit due to not having enough lifeguards to go around. Point Malard Water Park is gearing up for opening day on Memorial Day weekend. The lifeguards are shared between multiple pools.
People have actually warned against going into the wave tank due to how overly crowded it is and how dangerous that can be, because once you go under, trying to get back up with a whole sea of feet above you is just a nightmare in itself. And that's not even the worst part of it. They are known for their infamous 32-foot or 10-meter diving board. Of course, it's closed and nobody can go on it because somebody, died trying to jump from the 32-foot diving board. Not sure how exactly, but instead of going into the water, they went onto the concrete. Now, of course, people went, okay, 32 feet's a little too high. Let's go to the next level one, only for the same incident to happen. This one, though, I don't think the person died, but still, the fact that it happened twice shows a severe lack of any sort of safety precautions on that diving board. So if Point Malard was on your list of places to go for this summertime, just consider what we talked about. That's all. Coming up in number 3, we have Whitewater World in Coomera, Australia. Starting off unfortunately strong, we have the case of a 6-year-old getting on a slide known as Fully 6. While riding the slide, I'm not entirely sure how, the 8-year-old lost 16 ounces of blood, or a water bottle full of blood. Or we can talk about the guest that was flung from the side of a ride known as the Triple Vortex. The guest ended up breaking their clavicle and having severe nerve damage. The guest also reported that they were pushing him more so to sign an NDA than they were even trying to get him medical attention. Of course, the park denied all of those allegations. Before we get to our number 4 spot, I wanted to take this moment to have an honorable mention. This park is known as Siam Park, located in Bangkok, Thailand. It's reported that at this water park, the filtration is so poor that there is a visible layer of people's skin on the top of the water. I can only imagine how that looks, let alone how it would smell. Not to mention, it had a slide collapse on a group of guests when they went to go there. Our next honorable mention comes from Schlotterbahn in Kansas City. And of course, I think you know where this is going. The 168-foot slide, Verrückt, has almost become infamous in the horrific water slide video category. Upon opening, Verrückt was known as the tallest water slide in the world, having guests go 70 miles an hour down the slide. If that already sounds like a terrible idea on a water slide, you are correct, because this wasn't just a straight down drop slide, this one had a little bump in it, and a safety net because it had that bump.
Concerns only heightened after this video from the ride's testing phase appeared on the Travel Channel show Extreme Water Parks. Sandbag Dummies launching off the slide.
In 2016, a horrific accident would occur when a guest caught a little bit too much air going over that first bump. They ended up falling straight into the safety net, hitting their head, and effectively decapitating themselves. Of course, not only did this cause a terrifying scene, but for the park to lose popularity, effectively closing it in 2018. Yeah, I don't think I would ever want to go to another water park after seeing that in person. If you guys have been liking this video so far, I would highly appreciate if you guys showed that by leaving a like down there below, and don't forget to subscribe for more spooky, weird content like this. But without further ado, let's get on to number 4. We have Aqualandia in Benidorm, Spain. On a ride known simply as Splash at this water park, a man was tossed from the side and broke 2 vertebrae. The park, of course, responded to his medical attention and opened up only hours after this happened, not changing a single thing about the slide. And the worst part is, they actually tried to pin it on the guy, saying that he didn't follow the safety precautions that they needed, except video evidence showed that he in fact did. Another incident occurred on a ride known as Vertigo. Now, this is one of those drop-down plunge water slides that I'm sure you guys have seen, but in this case, the trapdoor didn't open fully, causing him internal bleeding and hemorrhaging. And much like the previous water park, an individual suffered severe nerve damage when they rode something known as the zigzag slide. The customer reviews simply state to avoid it at all costs, saying that this slide was actually more intense than they advertised it as. And as a cherry on top of all of this disaster, the park is extremely overcrowded to no concern from the park managers. I don't know if you guys have been to the top of those really tall water slides, but they are rickety and move when you are on top of them. Not to mention, when you're up there, if you feel brave enough, look at some of those rivets and look at some of those metal platings. They are rusty. And of course, what type of video regarding horrific water parks would this be if I didn't mention Action Park in Vernon, New Jersey? I believe this location is actually known to be one of the most infamous water parks. One accident occurred because of one individual simply kayaking in the river, hitting an electrical wire, causing an electrocution of not only that person, but 6 others. This isn't even mentioning the multiple drownings that occurred due to the neglectful lifeguards. In another case, an individual ended up having a heart attack from how cold the water was. And I mean, just look at the freaking cannonball loop. You're telling me that that would actually work? Of course, horror stories regarding lost teeth and bloody noses surround this cannonball loop. And if you were thinking about possibly going into something a little bit more tame like the wave pool, don't, because it had the nickname the Grave Pool. And hey, if you were looking to avoid all the water at all, don't worry, they have something known as the Alpine Slide that was known to cause 26 head injuries. To nobody's surprise, it was really quickly shut down. And then, to everybody's surprise, it was reopened in 2013. But this did not come without reports of ringworm and folliculitis. And if you don't know what that is, it just means your hair follicles get extremely irritated. Due to all of these incidences occurring at this park, it has been known as Class Action Park by the locals. There's actually a documentary going into detail on everything that happened known as Class Action Park. So yeah, if any of those water parks or rides were on your list of things to do this summer, maybe just reconsider. Personally, I go to Raging Waters, and that one's okay. You know, I kind of understand what they said about causing nerve damage and breaking vertebra, because I think there was one time I ended up hitting my butt on one of the ridges, and I was like, oh, that didn't feel right. That felt like nerve damage real quick. So be very careful out there, guys. Water parks are not an exact science, but hey, I'm not trying to get sued by any water parks. I am simply telling you the facts of what has happened. You know, maybe instead of going to a water park, we just go to a place with really nice AC or something more tame. But as always, everybody, If you guys like this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more spooky content like this. And as always, stay spooky. Bye-bye.